Hey, yo, what's going on, everyone? Welcome to the channel. Today, we're going to be going over Rick being included into Multiversus. Today is finally the day, and I know that everyone is super excited to finally get their hands on Rick. So, without further ado, we're just going to hop straight into it and go over Rick's kit in Multiversus. Gonna go ahead and give you guys the move list real quick so you can pause at your own leisure to actually read over this and go over Rick's moves so you can know exactly what is going down. As you can tell right now, there is no passive ability for Rick, so what you got here is what you're gonna get. But I think with everything that Rick is able to do, it makes a lot of sense why there might not be any passives available at this time. First and foremost, his neutral attack is the blaster, and as you can see, this dishes out a lot of damage very fast, and I feel like it's very cool as even an escape and approach option to approach with. You can literally run away and run and gun, and I kind of like characters like this, especially given the fact of my history with Fox and Brawl, where he was able to shoot and run. So you can run and gun, get positional advantage while also being offensive at the same time, so definitely be ready to use this move to your advantage. But cool thing is, if you hold it, you can actually shoot out a laser that travels across the stage, and I feel like this is exceptionally good, not only for winning neutral, but of course being able to have offensive pressure on the stage while being able to access the rest of your kit as well for follow-ups. So you're definitely going to want to get into the habit of using that, but keep in mind that there is lag on the move. Definitely you have to stand still to charge it, or of course you can jump and charge at the same time, but you kind of just have to hold this animation, which is what I'm trying to convey, so you can actually get the full charge shot off. And of course, if you're able to snipe people off stage with it, actually has its own uses in that regard as well. So be sure to use that as much as possible to nab KOs off the level. And of course, again, to kind of condition your opponents to have to avoid this off stage with an air dodge or a jump, which burns a resource for them to get back. A lot of utility off the bat already, but we're gonna get into the rest of his moves. You actually have his up normal on the ground, which is not a lasso, guys. You know what I'm saying? Looks like a damn lasso, but it ain't, but it ain't a lasso. But it actually combos into itself relatively well, and I can actually see this being used to follow up into some of his other aerials. But it's also a good anti-air, so if your opponent is jumping in on you, you don't always have to use the Mega Seed to try to hit them. You can actually just anti-air them off of the ground with that too. And so I like that move. I like the range that it has. I like that it's a 2-hit combo with a biscuit. So yeah, definitely big fan of this, and it's looking like it will definitely kill at higher percents. His down ground and normal, plants this on the ground, it farts, you get popped up, you understand it, you realize it. Definitely use this trap from a distance to catch players off guard, especially if they are constantly approaching. However, it does have cooldown, keep in mind. So while this is nice for popping people up, and of course it can set you up into his other moves, keep in mind that you're not always going to be able to just use this immediately. Up next is going to be his grounded forward combo, essentially. Got a double swipe into the kick, and then of course you can shoot the rocket right after. It's actually really dope, and the rocket actually has considerable knockback, all things considered. So if you are able to snipe someone off stage with the rocket itself, you're going to find that you're going to be getting kills off the ledge with it. Now let's get into those aerials. Of course, jumping and actually shooting like with neutral attack is going to pop that gun. You already know this. So we already went over that. So let's go into his upward aerial with the ability to silence as well. He uses that seed, as I said in that other showcase, you know, all the way up there. And of course, this silences your opponent, making it so that they actually cannot use their moves that take cooldown or have cooldowns. So very good in terms of utility in that regard. I actually think, like, straight up, that's pretty fucking broken. That's like super broken, because honestly, even though his up air isn't the largest, it's also not the smallest thing. I don't think it's going to be this impossible move to hit. So having the reward off of that is super good. But of course, once you use the seed, it is gone, and this is what the up air looks like after. When you actually hit your allies with the up air, it actually reduces their cooldown. So right here, cooldown reduction, big head applied. So it has also team utility to boot, which is pretty damn good. Rick's downward aerial is his pretty much, I want to say, a little Iron Giant Juniors, though you can't actually hover with them. However, he got his thrusters in his shoes, and it also deals ignite debuff. As you can see, the damage is ticking on over time, so you definitely want to use these. And of course, the grounded variant will have the ability to pretty much score KOs. And what I mean by the grounded variant is if you use the thrusters while someone is in the ground, of course, just similar to spiking someone into the ground, has enough knockback to kill straight up off of the top. So you definitely want to use that to also secure KOs with Rick. But that ignite debuff is pretty damn nice as well, if I do say so myself. And lastly, Rick thrusts forward with his forward air. Not only is this move strong and charged, it's also a great move for following up out of as well. Shoot this laser, the long range laser, run behind it, do that forward air to boot. And of course, you can get a lot more creative with your punishes with this move. And again, if you are able to land the charged variant of this move, he is killing his opponents very early at horizontal percent. It's like in horizontal positioning, not percent, to my apologies. So, I'm gonna take it back again. Pop! Go off. And the range is a little bit strict too, so you got to make sure that you're actually really on your opponent. And that's going to be a body bag and a half, baby.
I hope you pay those meeseeks.
That's a good line. Hey, DJ, spin that back. Hey, hold on, guys. Only 24.4% of you guys are subscribed to the channel, leaving 75.6% of you not subscribed. Now, of course, it is not mandatory. However, I am a man on a mission and a man with a dream, and my dream is to one day hit 100,000 subscribers on YouTube so I can get that plaque. And not only that, we are on the road to 50K at the moment, so it only takes 1 second of your time. Please subscribe to the channel if you enjoy the content, if you enjoy the vision, and of course, if you support the vision. It would mean the world to me. Now, let's get you back to what you were watching for. Much love. Take it easy. Thank you so much. Now, of course, what is Rick? His specials. So we have to get into his specials off rip. You already know the neutral B is to summon the Meeseeks, and that was me holding the button. So basically, if I tap it, Meeseeks just stands there, but the minute I press a direction, that is the direction he will go. I can press up. So let's take this off. I can press up, backwards, forward, and down. That one is actually funny because when you press down the first time, it's kind of winding up, right? And you just have to kind of let him do that. So he stays in position to do that. You can actually move around and, of course, attack your opponent into the golf club swing, which is going to take immaculate time on your end to actually do. If you want to take it a step further, you can actually summon a Meeseeks, have him golf club swing a projectile as soon as it gets close to the Meeseeks. So there's even more utility around that as well. And of course, you kind of use the Meeseeks as a guard as well, because straight up, I ain't trying to get hit, so hit my Meeseeks. That's a body bag. I love this shit, man. It's so good. So Rick has that added utility of being able to use the Meeseeks to not only protect himself, but of course to reflect projectiles and just to be a menacing thing to deal with on the stage while you're also trying to pin him down and catch him. As you can see, you can have two Meeseeks on the screen at the same time before the move actually goes on cooldown. Once the box is at 0, you're going to have to wait for it to recharge in order to get another Meeseeks.
Who knew science could be violent?
Next up is what makes Rick one of the deepest characters in the game. It's his ability to use portals. As you can see, you can aim the reticle to place your portal, and then this is where things get crazy. First things first, when you summon a large portal, you can actually knock enemies straight into it, knocking them towards you for follow-ups. This is super duper cool. And not only that, it makes Rick pretty damn unique because he can force a lot of interactions just off of being rewarded off of landing a hit itself. But of course, you have to make sure that your portal is properly placed so that you can even knock an enemy through it. If you have 2 portals up, you can actually not only transport through it, but you can shoot your projectiles through it as well. And not just your projectiles, this also means that your ally also has the ability to throw things through portals as well. And I'm going to set that up here for you right now so you can actually check this out. We're going to have one here, and we're going to have one here. Let's see what happens when the sandwich goes through. So not only are you able to set up portals for your own projectiles, but your allies can also use the portals to help throw their projectiles through as well, giving Rick, again, tons of mix-up opportunity. It's super duper cool, and I actually think this is my favorite thing about Rick, being able to use the portals in this way. If you're in a pinch and you need to recover off stage, you can actually shoot a portal to bring you all the way back. And so I think this also has great utility off stage when you need to recover and you're in a pinch. However, be sure to not be too predictable with where you're going to go, because of course you can be hit out of it and killed. Another neat utility for portals is your allies can also use portals to navigate through the stage by dodging through them. So keep that in mind. Again, this is pretty much the biggest thing about Rick that makes him such a crazy yet unique character, and I can't wait to see how players come up with different ways in teams to utilize portals to their team's advantage. Outside of portals, of course, if you actually have 2 portals on the stage as Rick and you no longer have the ability to summon them, you will actually just use these little jet skis to thrust forward. You can also use them to recover as well, and they have decent knockback too, so there is some utility in not having portals as well, but you pretty much always want to be able to have a portal on deck if possible. If cooldown permits, of course. A quick combo that I did not mention earlier out of the forward combo on the ground is you can actually transition it into the whip, and of course use Rick's other moves to mix up as well. So of course you can do forward, whip, jump, or forward, hit one of whip, cancel it into an up special. And pretty much it's anything that you can come up with at that point, because you can cancel out of hit one of the whip and just go into like a different aerial. Like here I'll do forward aerial. So be sure to utilize Rick in ways that basically you're pretty much mixing up all his moves, and essentially, let me get that spike, body bag. And essentially with his forward combo, you do not always just have to do this finisher. Rick's up special is essentially a big thrust and an explosion from a what appears to be jetpack. You can use this move literally to not only be offensive, but of course to give yourself a nice vertical thrust to get back onto the stage, and it can be charged as well. You do a little light tap, it goes a lot faster, but of course this charge will actually have a lot more knockback, and we're going to see just how much percent is needed to effectively, I want to say, either KO or almost KO an opponent with this move. We'll land next to Shaggy, pull the thrusters, his ass is out of here. As I was saying, options, baby, options. Portal, I'm thrusting upwards, see ya, I'm back on the stage. And lastly, we're gonna actually shoot this down. We're gonna polymorph your mans into a rain dog, and in this state, they are a lot weaker than usual. A lot more cute, but a lot weaker. In this state, enemies actually are unable to attack, and they receive a lot more damage than normal. So I'm actually going to demonstrate this here right now. We're going to keep it really basic, right? We're just going to do a forward combo while Shaggy is at 0. That's how much damage it takes. Now let's turn him into a rain dog and see what happens. As you can see, a bit more damage has been applied there. So what is the benefit of this? Well, one, this is a trap that you do not want to get hit by, especially just standing over it. But you can also increase your own size, and your moves and projectiles also increase as a result, making this insanely good for yourself. Of course, you have to stand on it for some time though. So the issue with that, in my opinion, is that you need to be able to set up for this, meaning you need to be able to clear space so you actually have time to get towards this, because a lot of the time people aren't just going to sit there and let you do that, especially with how much reward and benefit you get from, of course, polymorphing yourself or pretty much just making yourself bigger. Now not only does this increase your size, but it also increases the size of your allies as well. And not to mention, it will also increase the size of their special attacks. Well, not even just special attacks, just any projectiles that they use too, which is super duper dope. We're gonna increase Shaggy's size. He's gonna pull that sandwich, bada bing, bada boom. As you can see, much larger. So again, you can turn your enemies into a rain dog, of course, making them take more damage and unable to attack. And of course, you can grow your own size or your partner's size, and you guys will both receive the benefits of being large with bigger projectiles as well. Now, lastly, we're going to actually get into the aerial specials. You use Mr. Meeseeks in the air, you actually get to fly with the Meeseeks. This is so funny. What the fuck? You get to fly with the Meeseeks. This is great. This is actually great. Just another way of mixing up aerial momentum, especially when you're falling from the ground. You can actually activate it 2 times after they disappear. Well, 2 times after the first time they disappear. So basically, 1, falling, 2, try again, I'm dead. Another aerial, of course, you can do the portals in the air as demonstrated before, as well as the air thrusters when you do not have the portal. In the air, if you do your down special, you'll actually just aerial shoot down a polymorph. Pretty self-explanatory, right? I mean, things don't really change that much for Rick. Whether you're in the air or on the ground, the moves pretty much remain and function the same for the most part. But now, we're actually going to go ahead and get into Rick's perks. We're going to go over these. Hephaestus who? All right, I feel the shots, Rick. God damn. Is that necessary? Fuck. When Rick fully charges his whip attack, the final hit will spike enemies down toward Rick. All right, so we're going to do the whip attack, and we're going to see what happens when we fully charge it. Brings them down for combos, baby. Hold up. So if you don't want to actually focus on throwing someone up to the air to combo them, you can actually drag them down with the whip for different kinds of extensions. Squanching pyrotechnics. Rick's portal has a longer cooldown, but allies that pass through a portal ignite enemies with their next melee attack. Allied projectiles that pass through a portal also ignite enemies. Enemies that pass through a portal are ignited. Create a portal, knock them through it, they get ignited immediately. And of course, self-explanatory, if your ally actually throws a projectile through it and it hits an enemy, they will get ignited. And when they go through a portal the next time they hit an enemy, they will also be ignited by their next melee attack. That's dope. That's super duper dope. There's some good utility in this. Like his move, so far these 2 moves, they don't change that much. They don't change things too much. Maybe the whip. But overall, it just adds more utility or different kinds of utility to his moves. I'm actually a big fan of this Squanching pyrotechnics though. Not gonna lie. And then a bit of stickler Meeseeks. Rick's Meeseeks deal double damage to fighters that are already in hit stun. That's kind of crazy. So if someone is in hit stun, right, just generally, right, you're doing combos, if you hit them while they're in hit stun, they take more damage. That's fucking crazy, right? So Rick's Meeseeks deal double, but it has to be the Meeseeks though. So you have to actually combo with your Meeseeks, and I feel like this is going to be a little bit more of, I want to say, a technical one to use. Meeseeks have a lot of utility, and I can't wait to see how people actually use them, given the fact that they can just set up for combos as well. Just generally, having a Meeseeks is not a bad thing, but of course, I think there's going to be a big learning curve with the utility, even with the utility of the Meeseeks, to be honest, because of just how you have to implement them into your gameplay, as well as generally having to also take into account for portals as well. So I'm really interested to see how not only Meeseeks are implemented into Rick gameplay in general and competitive, but how they are micromanaged as well, and how setups are made from them. So overall, what do I think of Rick? I think this character is nuts. I think that this is probably the most technical character that is in the game currently, and it's crazy because I feel like they keep coming with these deep characters, and it makes me really excited, to be honest, because I like characters that come out like this. His potential is through the roof. I think in teams, he's going to be a menace. And I actually think in singles, he's going to be able to hold his own fairly well. Probably piss off a lot of people with just how much utility and projectiles and just little things he can do to debuff people. I think Polymorph is going to be insane as well. Where do I have him on the tier list? Well, he hasn't been out long enough for that. But I will be playing him a bunch on my Twitch channel, so be sure to go ahead and check that out, of course, at twitch.tv/NAKAT. I will be live as this video is out. Not to mention, guys, on my Twitch channel, by the way, I'm actually running a donation goal to get to Japan, Asia, to make some Multiversus content with some of the people that play platform fighters out there. So if you guys want to see some unique, never before seen, fresh premiere content on this channel in Japan, of all places, be sure to check out my Twitch channel again and consider supporting the cause. I would greatly, greatly appreciate any support that comes my way so that I can continue to bring not only good content to you guys, but of course, the most unique content possible. So, guys, be sure to hit the battlefield, and of course, be sure to subscribe to this YouTube channel for premiere Multiversus content. This is the hot spot, #1 stop to come through to if you want not only to improve your game, but to see some goon activity as well. Thank you guys for watching. Cat, take it easy. Peace out. Deuces.